Nearly 3 years after breaking ground, Boston's newest music venue is open for business. Roadrunner hosted its inaugural show last night, and lucky for me, it's just feet from where I'm sitting now. And as you may have guessed, it takes its name from the modern lover's ode to Boston. With one down the street, you just might drive past the Stop and Shop. GBH News arts and culture reporter James Bennett was at Roadrunner's opening last night. He joins me now. James, it's great to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
Thanks for being. So while we're all worrying about whether or not these performance venues are going to make it through the pandemic, a new large one is opening. Tell us about Roadrunner.
Yeah, so the timing on this was what you might just call like fortuitous, you know? It broke ground April Fool's Day of 2019. There's no way you could have read into that metaphor back then. Obviously, 2020 came along with the pandemic, and construction was halted. It was not deemed essential construction by the city. But things were able to get picked up again after, logistical setbacks, and it opened last night, some 3 years later, just in time, not only for the easing of these restrictions, but also kind of in time for summer too.
Yeah,
so
that's a great point.
Even after the delay, it's still kind of spot on for an opening.
So every single thing I've read about this is the mandatory thing to say is no obstacles, unbelievable sight lines. Is that true, or is that just a mantra?
I mean, I went in last night actually for the opening concert, which was Billy Strings, and I made a point to sit in the mezzanine off of stage right, just to kind of test out that theory, and it worked. There aren't a lot of right angles there, so you're not ever in a position where you have to kind of careen your neck around other concert goers to kind of, or peer over the side of the actual balcony to look at the stage like on some other multi-tiered venues.
I hate bluegrass music. I happen to love him. Was it full?
It was very full.
Like thousands of people.
Yeah,
sold.
so I got there pretty early. I want to say maybe around 7 or so. I was talking to folks outside, getting a read on what the vibe was going to be. And sitting in the mezzanine, you could see it just fill up. You could see it fill up. And at one point I broke away to run to the bathroom, and I come back, and then boom, it's just a sea of people. They're getting antsy. They want him to come out. He came out about maybe 15, 20 minutes late, and it was full. It was like, yeah, it was.
And the Dropkicks are playing for St. Patrick's Day, which I know you don't
true.
celebrate. I read that. That's a whole topic for another. By the way, you don't need to be Irish. You don't need to be white. You don't need to be named Patrick to celebrate St. Patrick's. I'll explain it to you later. So I know you're new to town. Are you too new to be familiar with the argument about whether the state song should be Roadrunner or Dream On by Aerosmith?
So you know what? I'm going to be real with you. I think maybe I am a bit too new for that, but I do encourage some kind of civic debate, if you will, on what a state song could and should be, if it should even be updated at all. I mean, why not, right? Like, I talk to my friends sometimes about how a lot of national anthems across the world are just so, like, stately in a very almost generic way, and it's like, that's not really capturing the spirit of whatever, polity it's trying to represent. So, like, come on, like, yeah, why not?
So since you are new to town, from Brooklyn, I should say, what are your first impressions of Boston, particularly the beat you cover coming from the epicenter of the universe in 2022, Brooklyn, New York?
It's making me work. Let's put it that way.
What does that mean?
So in New York, I feel it's really easy to walk out of your apartment and you can just stumble into something. Whether it's somebody, busking in the subway station, hanging out on a street corner, going to a park, walking by any number of venues or bars or restaurants, just walk in and see what's going on. Boston, it feels like things are much more intentionally set up to the point where you can't just kind of walk outside and fall into something, depending on where you're in the city. Where I am in my slice of Dorchester, that's like certainly very difficult. So you have to like really make a point to talk to people, to know what's going down, and then just go. Last night on the train, actually, I was talking to this dude who came back from a metal show at the venue I can't remember, but I was just like, where are you going to see these shows, man? And he just gave me a list of places to check out. And that's the job. Now I have to go. I'm obliged now to go and see whatever acts are.
It's got to be intentional.
Through.
So you a stranger talking kind of person? I mean, you're into that? Like just talking to people on the tee? Is that your deal?
I just talked to my therapist about this, actually. literally like 2 hours ago. Yeah, I am. I think people are really interesting. So, I do.
Well, one of the things I like that you do, particularly since you're new and everything has to be so intentional, I guess, as you're describing, you do this monthly thing about things to do. Where does it come from since you have to, everything is new to you? I mean, how do you pull it together?
Yeah, so that was actually reverse engineered. That is a product of me being new in town and saying, what can I do this month? And the tricky part to balance really is you don't want to be the newcomer who tells people that have been here, here's what you should do. Here are these cool things. 'Cause a lot of times they already know about them, right? Like, you don't want to say, oh, there's this, tiny little park somewhere, or oh, here's a cool music video, or a cool bar that I found. Yeah, you didn't find that. People that have been here have already known about it. So I'm just thinking, what are some, shows, what are some events that are going down that I want to check out that I think other people might want to check out too, and it doesn't really encroach on their knowledge of the space they already live in.
You know what I really like about it, beyond the fact it's interesting, and I have lived here for decades from New York, by the way, and I learned some things from your list. I think every month you include a volunteer thing, do you not?
Yeah.
And where does that come from? I mean, why are you doing that? I didn't mean where's it come from?
No,
it's like, why do you do it? I love that you do it.
I think it started again, like it's for someone like me who's new here to kind of get involved, with the place that they're in. You don't want to it's weird being a reporter in any capacity, being in a separate place from the beat or the city that you're covering. And, it doesn't always have to be a matter of take. I mean, all this is consumption, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a music venue, you're consuming something. Flip that on its head and it's just, giving, and why not? It's variance really, but it's variance with a net positive.
You don't have to be from here to love a show that has been around for quite a while, but is actually going off TV in its conventional way, to love Arthur. And I loved what you said in your piece on Arthur. That would be the aardvark for those who are unfamiliar. I assume everybody is familiar. It's a character, you said, I think you wrote, that you can thoroughly identify with. Fill in the blank for me. What do you mean by that?
Arthur wasn't perfect. And he wasn't the best at anything. He was just a third grader with friends who was trying to make it. And I won't get too into it, but I think that for a lot of kids, there's this crisis of, being do I have to be the most athletic or the most musical or, the smartest or the trendiest or the coolest? And Arthur wasn't any of those things, but he just kind of made it work for him. I appreciated that he was in touch with his own emotions. He wasn't this paragon of integrity that a lot of children's characters kind of fall into.
Let me tell you, James, your therapist would be proud, really proud. James Bennett, it's great to meet you. I'm really glad to have you here. Thanks so much.
Alrighty.